What's going on, my peoples? And I go by name the Sorcerer, and this is the second episode of The T is for Tarot. Now, the next person that I'm going to be giving a reading for is a very, I would say he is currently my favorite YouTuber. I'm not gonna lie. I can't lie. I can't lie. Now, I'm gonna have a look. For those that don't know, my favorite current YouTuber is called Spanian. He is an Australian vlogger. He's known for his takes on going into different hoods, different cities, and then reviewing food. But there's been a recent turn. He's had success in which I'm really happy for him. But recently, there's been a little bit of a drama. Now, I'm going to pick up the energy towards this, my favorite YouTuber called Spanian. And let's have a look. Let's see what the energies are saying in regards to him. And let's see whatever I pick up. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to just do it. I'm going to just say it. So let's see. All right. All right. So there's a lot of heaviness at this moment in time. I feel very much so that there's a lot of inner child healing that needs to be done at this moment. He is having offers being, there's a lot of offers, but I also feel like there's something not quite right at this moment in time. And I'm going to explain. All right. So I feel like there's this heavy burden. There's this heavy burden in which I feel Spanian is going to have a process of things that will be crashing down on him. Now, with the tarot card, a lot of people fear the tarot card, but in order for you to have actual real transformations, certain things need to happen. So let's just say if you have had moments where you know you're going to make changes, right? But you're not doing it. Spirit is going to say, well, guess what? It needs to happen. And I feel it's down to his personal life. I feel like it's down to a energy of the family. I feel like it's involving a little bit of drama that's happening as we speak behind the scenes, because we've got the Justice card. It feels very much so it's something to do with marriage. And to be honest with you, it feels as though like things are crashing down to reality, because I sense a strength. I do see him having strength, but I do see a vulnerability in where he is feeling rather isolated. He has the power to persevere, but everybody goes through a period where there is a threshold, and I feel very much as if he is going through that threshold, as if he feels as if everything and everybody is against him. Now, he is going to have a tower moment. Now, the Nine of Wands feels for me that he's going to go through a process of why is everything crashing down? And I feel as though this is a positive thing because I've got the Death card. The Death card is a rebirth. But I actually feel as if this rebirth is about him resorting back to his own faith, his religious beliefs. And there is an energy of disillusion, asking himself many questions. Why are certain things happening? It almost feels as if like he needs and he's wanting to get some type of existential help, right? So this feels very much so of going back to his faith, in which I would support, because I feel very much like going back to his faith, especially with the Temperance card, is something healing, something that will ground him, and something that would actually be a situation that's needed for him in terms of his own growth. There's a lot of things that he's holding back on, and I feel it's the failings of not being able to say the real things. And that's not from a position that he's not real. It's because where he is in terms of his own current state of affairs and that social media, he is a person that needs to be more vocal about his issues. This could be things such as the challenges that he goes through, his own mental health, but it's something that he doesn't want to say on camera. It almost feels as if he needs to have a relation, and this feels very much as if it's more to do with the energy of faith. And I feel as if he is going through the process of growth, but in order for this to trigger, this feels very much as if he has to be lost in order to be found. And this is very symbolic in terms of Christian nature, biblical nature, that you have to be lost to be found, right? And in spirituality, you in order for you to truly find the light, you got to go through darkness. Now, the advice that I would give this to Spanian is to really focus on the goals that he's had from the moment he decided to say, I'm going to pick up a camera and I'm going to do what I got to do. There's this energy of him needing to look back on his purpose and actually say, okay, why am I doing this for? There's this misrepresentation that he's giving not only to himself, but through the people. And that's because he is actually trying to cover a certain pain. All right. I've got the um 10 of swords, and I've got the 5 of pentacles. My advice for him is to truly take this opportunity, take this as a way of saying, I'm going to take the power back to myself, and I'm now about to utilize the energy of self-care, self-love. This isn't from a physical point of view, because he is in essence in good shape, but this feels more of an emotional stability with himself, with the Lovers card. I've got to cover the Lovers card because it's got a bit of nudity. I do not want to get in trouble. But we've got the Hermit card, and the Hermit card is really needing for him to take this moment and really reflect and really take a big, massive pause. Yes, a big, massive pause. I feel very much as if there's this energy, and this is about him, especially with the Devil card, and this is about ego. This is about ego. It's the, oh, I'm all right. I'm going to just keep going. But you're failing to actually deal with the present moment. And that's the issue that I've got with him, is that I feel very much like the in order for myself to function, I'm going to ignore all of the feelings that I got, and I'm just going to do. And this is the recipe of him crashing. I do feel like he right now has, it feels very much like he's very, it feels very much like he's going to go through a crash out. Now, this crash out for me is something that, yeah, I asked Spirit, I said, is it going to be a situation where it will be on social media? And I've got a yes. So this might be a situation where he will, yeah, I got the Tower card for sure again. I got the Tower card. So this feels very much for me as if he's going to potentially get himself in a little bit of an issue. I don't think it's going to be a massive issue, but it's going to be enough to scare him to say, you know what, I've got to check myself before I wreck myself. And right now, the case of it is for Spanian to truly prevent before the cure. Now, what I see going forwards for him is, and this is what my advice going forwards for Spanian, are the Knight of Wands. Use this as an energy to really find creative ways and use this as an outlet. Now, I feel like he should be more interpersonal with how he feels, not just about talking about things from a sort of surface level. Actually, be a G in this current situation with the King of Cups. Say that he's currently going through massive issues regarding what it's like to be in the position where he is right now. I understand that he's currently not in excuse me, I need to cover that. He's currently divorced, or he's in separation, divorce situation regarding his wife, ex-wife. And this is something that needs to be spoken of. He needs to deliver this as a truth to the masses and say, you know what? I'm currently going through this, and from a humanic point of view, this is very difficult. I actually feel like he's going to be able to give himself grace, but at the same time, people are going to give him grace because people can see struggle. You know, you don't have to be a psychic to see it when somebody's trying to get on with things and they're currently going through a difficult moment. I mean, you can try to cover this, but again, it's all ego, especially with the devil card. And if you continue to cover the situation, it's only going to be a build up until it explodes. So I would advise him right now to be really, really honest with his audience because he has a low fan base. Hey, I I got love for him. I have true love for this guy. And the one thing I will say to you is, bro, is it is so powerful if you really spoke of the current feelings that you have at this moment in time, because you have such an influence. Not you're in a privilege uh and a fortunate position because you got the men that love you because you represent many men, but you also got the women that love you because obviously you have this authenticity about yourself. But and I feel like there is a lack of authenticity, especially with vulnerabilities that need to be said. Now, this might not be a situation that you may be ready of, but I do feel that you will be saying these things, and whether you take a certain path, you either take the path and say a situation like you crash out and a situation happened because of this, or you go into the camera and be like, look, shit's hard. Do you know what I'm saying? Shit's hard and I'm going through it, man. But people will love you for that. And as well as there's this fear that you may be feeling as if like that's a shame that you've got to carry. Now, I want you to not see this as a shame. I want you to embrace this as a way of saying, you know what? In this imperfect world, I'm imperfect too. But embrace that imperfection because really, people see that energy and they would really, really, they would feel it. They would truly, truly relate to that. I would be surprised if somebody doesn't relate to that because many people have experienced breakups, separation, hurt, pain, and you have this amazing way of conveying things without even trying. And I feel like you need to trust, yeah, you need to trust your your audience. You need to trust your audience in your vulnerabilities, in the way you're open to being vulnerable in certain other parts in your content. But in terms of your personal, I'm not saying to completely say everything, but I also feel like you need to be dropping some nuggets and gems because people truly will appreciate that, not only because they love you, but because you have the power of influence to be like, I'm going through that too. This is a different, I'm going to say this. This is a different side of you, especially with the Empress energy. In ways, this will inspire you into making different types of content. This is going to change the way you make content. So rather than just, in essence, showing a face to the world, it's time for you to show your soul. And that may be hard. I get it. But this is something that's going to set you free, bro. So the Ten of Cups, and I know you are a man of God, which I respect, but light represents light. The Ten of Cups is fortune after difficulty, and you will feel a lot more lighter the moment you set that heaviness in your chest free from the feelings that you've been holding on to. And this might be something that you've wanted to say, but you couldn't say it, or you may not be ready yet. But if you give that energy to saying, I will say that in time, I guarantee you that itself is something that's going to free you and not hold you. All right? It's all about how you perceive this. You see this as something that will free you, you'll feel empowered. You see this as something that will hold you, then it will hold you. But the one thing I will say, last cards for Spanian, is it is important for you to fully take this time to reflect, to rest, and to actually be real with yourself. All right. That was your reading, or my reading, excuse me. That was my reading of Spanian. And yes, I far really enjoyed that. That was the second episode of The T is for Tarot. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care now.